Welcome to the Transformational Coach podcast with me, Rhona Barton, giving you competence with confidence. Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Transformational Coach Thoughts from My Sofa podcast. How are we all doing this week? We're well into 2021 now, and I hope your January is going quite well for you. How's everybody keeping? Is everybody taking time to look after themselves? Are you running around after everybody else? Whatever it is you're doing, thank you for taking a few minutes to stop and listen to this episode. It's much appreciated. We're on episode 38 this week, and we're starting a new topic. Our topic for the next few weeks is going to revolve around how to succeed. And this week we're looking at prioritising what matters. We'll also look at determination, learning from mistakes, successful habits as part of this how to succeed topic. So let's just jump straight in. It's a new year, and I explained to you in last week's episode that I'm not one for New Year's resolutions, but what I do like to do is think about what I want to be achieving, my priorities, if you like, my goals. And then, as ever, because it is me, I like to list them, and within those priorities, make decisions upon things like what is urgent, what is a nice to have, what I absolutely can't do without. What about you? How do you prioritise things? One thing I am aware of is that if I prioritise everything as a high priority or an urgent priority, then things begin to lose their urgency or lose their importance. If everything is important, then nothing is most important, if you like. So when I look at prioritising my own tasks, I first off determine what is high or urgent in my priority list. Now, I'm going to let you in on a secret about how I do this. You know me by now that I am one for lists. It helps just get everything out of my head onto a piece of paper, and then I can look at that, start prioritising and organising it. So for me, when I'm looking at prioritising, it is this process of determining what is most important to me and what feels like the most important at that point in time. And if I just cast an eye over my list, then I could be tempted to say everything is urgent for me. But as I've said, I then think if everything is urgent, nothing becomes the most important thing for me. And I can find myself losing a lot of time and potentially a lot of productive time by constantly scanning up and down my list to see what I'm going to tackle next. So how do I stop that? Well, one of the ways I do things is to go down my list and classify, if you like, each item. So I might call an item A because it's vital that it gets completed or done. I might label an item with a B because it is important, but I do have a few days to action it. And then I might prioritise it as a letter C, which would be a nice to have or an optional activity. Something that I do want to get to, but if I don't get to it for a couple of months, that's okay. And then within those categories, I then number 1, 2, 3, etc., the importance of each item. So anything in the A or vital category will then also be numbered in its priority order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10, for example, if I have 10 items like that. Likewise for category B, these items that are important, they should definitely get done, but if they do slip by a day or two, there's not necessarily a major consequence to that action. I am able to get my B priorities done each day, and it does leave me feeling in quite a productive state. And once those A's and B priorities have been dealt with, I can then look at the C's, the nice to haves, these optional activities. They could be related to projects that have a deadline way ahead in the future. So one of those for me throughout all of 2020, and I do realise that it's going to sound odd given that a lot of people were working from home, and we had lockdowns and things were shut. But one of the priorities in that nice to have category for me was a revamp of my website, a revamp of my branding, if you like. And I've only just managed to get round to it now. It was a goal for all of 2020, and I managed to achieve it in 2021. It was definitely a nice to have priority for me. Other things took precedence, and that did change throughout the year. And likely you've had similar experiences yourselves. But my website has had a refresh, it's been rebranded, and those consequences of that rebranding will continue to unfold through the likes of my social media and my Contact Me pages. So, what are your top 5 priorities in life? Make a list. What matters more to you than anything else? And in what areas of your life do you need a bit of a tune-up to realign with your priorities? Are you still working within your values? And if not, what's been getting in the way of you truly living your priorities? Once you've got that sorted, to think about what you could do differently. What could you say no to so that you can build your life around what matters to you most? And I know we've discussed this before. When you say no to something, you're potentially saying yes to a new opportunity. So, how are you going to prioritise what matters most to you? I know some people that like to capture everything onto this master document, if you like, this major list of absolutely anything and everything they want to achieve. And then they begin to break those down into monthly, weekly, daily, or even hourly goals, where they can separate what's urgent from important tasks and those nice to have. And then on a daily basis, they rank their tasks by their, if you like, their true priority for that day. They possibly also separate tasks with similar priorities. And then they cut out, if you like, good enough goals, and they stick with what ties in and what works best with their overall aim. Prioritise your most important work during your most productive hours. Are you a night owl? Do you work best when, if you like, everybody else in your household has gone to sleep or everybody's winding down? And that's when you really come to life and can focus on your tasks and really get them done undisturbed and just work through them like the boss that you are. Or are you more of an early bird? Are you one of these people who like to, be up for a morning run at 5 a.m. and have had their shower and breakfast and ready for their day by 6 a.m? In which case, prioritise your productive time. Perhaps take some time this month. It's January. Things are off to a slow start for 2021. We're in another lockdown here in the UK. So perhaps take some time this month to really think about what you want to prioritise in 2021. As ever, if you need the time and space to really think through and talk through the things that are important to you, reach out. Speak to a friend, speak to a neighbour, speak to your boss, for example. Do you have a mentor that you can talk about these things with? If not, speak to me. You have my contact details as ever. They'll be in the show notes underneath this episode. I would love to hear from you. I would love to be able to give you the time and the space that you deserve to talk through your priorities for this year and how you're going to go about tackling them in order to succeed and live the life that you deserve. In the meantime, as ever, please stay safe. Please continue to look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.